there's nothing over here.
I'm
with
impressed
regards to
though.
Straight up Mongol
8%
blood.
Genghis Khan.
Just him, just the dude, man.
Dude.
That's a lie.
Is that the closest thing to immortality you can have? Like your genetics is 8% of the population?
Yeah, well, he was a scary human being.
That is a scary man.
Yeah.
He fought on all fronts.
What's that mean?
Obviously, he fought genetic wars.
Right?
Meant like what's it called? Psychological and then actual technological.
then World War.
Yeah, World War.
Brutal. Hey guys.
Hi, how you doing? It's so good to be here.
I know, it's a cold night in Mississauga, like negative 20 degrees.
I like how comfortable you are. I mean, I'm very happy that you're
Sorry,
very
I brought my
comfortable.
socks. I was just like, I don't care. I'm bringing my slipper socks. I'm cold.
I'm honored that you're this comfortable coming to the studio. You're like, and you had it tucked underneath your shoulder too. It's not like you had it stuffed in your purse and you walked in and you just like gingerly pull it out.
They're
You're like,
really
no,
big.
this is happening. Upon entrance.
Only polar bears should live in this country. Do you people understand that? I don't get it.
I believe the weather creates two things. One, it builds character because it is something difficult. Anything difficult builds character. One. Number two is that there's a sense of like community with everyone suffering through the exact same thing together.
You know what builds character? The sunshine in Hawaii.
No, I don't think so.
I agree with Yasin.
I think the sunshine in Hawaii builds a bunch of dudes that are like beating each other up in the
You
beach.
guys have character flaws.
Wow. You know what? It's a great comeback. Yeah, it builds character.
Flaws?
A flawed character. Something that tells you it's okay to be cold. No, that's not cool.
No, it is not.
No.
It is not okay to be cold. My father comes to this country and he's like, you're all pagal, which is you're all mental, and then leaves and now has refused to come back. He's like,
So you went back to UK where there's no sun?
he came here when my daughter was born and hasn't been back since and refuses to return.
There is no other reason.
That's it. I will come to visit my grandchild.
When she gets married.
And yes, and from then on in, you come here. God. And now every time I say, Mark and Dad, are you guys going to come? They'll be like, no, we'll send you a ticket. And they literally just pay for me to go.
To come. They'll ship you in.
We're not going to Canada. Why would we go? Why?
It's a nice place.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Although apparently today there's the biggest meteor shower in the entire year today. Every year on the 13th and the 14th of December. So apparently the sky is going to be beautiful all night. There's going to be like shooting stars. Like every minute you're able to see a shooting star tonight.
Is that tonight? Oh,
yes,
yes.
That's really
apparently.
cool.
Yeah, none of us are going to see it. I'm going to be underneath two covers.
I'm going to
not
be
going
driving back,
outside.
so I'll see it.
I'll probably be up.
I feel like
Yeah,
if
I'm
I
gonna
go
see
outside,
it.
if I look up, I feel like my eye, like contacts would freeze.
Look northeast.
Look northeast.
Yeah. You have windows. It's called a heated house.
What the? Look at the sass over here. Tell me about Windows now. First the Mongols, now this. All right, you know what? I might give it a go. I love shooting stars and like anything to do with the sky. Did you guys ever like go to Algonquin and look up?
No.
It's honest. There's nothing like it.
Look up.
There's nothing like it. It's like life affirming. Like mashallah. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Coolest things I've ever seen.
As Muslims, you can't even look at shooting star and be like, let me wish on a star.
No.
Because essentially God pelting the devil because he's trying to eavesdrop on God's plans.
Oh yeah.
At least that was the story that was told to me when I was young.
Yep.
You said that so confidently.
Okay.
No,
Well,
it's-
that's what happens when you get incepted by your parents with the stories.
That's true.
You take that. Once I was taking like this medicine out of the vial, my mom said it was elephant blood. Back then, I didn't. I okay, right?
You just
Because I was a
went
kid.
with it? You're like-
and then years later,
Yeah.
I mean, like 2 years ago, I'm like, yeah, it's that elephant blood. Wait a minute, it's not elephant blood. Like, it's not like I never really processed it because you just bought it at face value so long ago. And you're like, this is not elephant blood.
Yeah, we get told. I was like, if you
Children
spill salt.
used to be so innocent. If I said that to my kid now, she'd look at me like, seriously?
Should pull out Google.
She's like, okay, Google, elephant blood medicine. Look at you skeptically.
My kid
so
asks
true.
Siri questions and I'm not Siri! You're like, you're 5 years old. Pack it in.
There's no wonder anymore.
Yeah. Kids aren't scared of anything. They like look at you right in the eyes. They aren't scared at all. Just be like, hey. And you're like, what? And like, I'm like, how is this kid so confident?
because they don't get beat no more.
Yeah.
I used to be. There was a chance of me getting beat with any adult around the area. Like there was.
So, hi, everybody. We're not
What do you mean? People get hit.
People get hit.
People get hit hard. I got hit with like a rolling pin. I have a bump right here.
Oh, good lord, dude.
On your sheet? Seriously? That's harsh.
Yeah, I wasn't reading the Quran well enough. Like, well, but not well enough.
And so you got a rolling pin for
Yeah, I
that?
still have a bump in my shin. Like, I'm not joking.
That's
Maybe she's
heavy
trying
duty.
to, prep your shin up for Muay Thai.
Dude, I saw...
My mum chased me around the house with a rolling pin.
Yeah, but you get you,
So
though.
it's just
No,
a
I locked
threat.
myself in the bathroom until my dad came home.
Wow. So is that one of these questions that you would ask a potential?
Would you
client?
beat your child?
No, not that.
No,
I would.
that-
No, you would.
Here,
But
listen.
but you would have to ask.
We have better
You'd have to ask her
opinion
like, are you
about
are you a timeout type of person?
Oh, yeah.
Are you I'm
We
assuming that's one
we
of those
do
questions.
conflict resolution, yeah.
Conflict
How do
resolution.
you resolve conflict?
How do you tell how somebody would resolve conflict if they've never been in a relationship before? Because that was an issue for me, where I had never been in a relationship conflict until marriage, until literally wedding planning, where Yasin was like, "You look stressed, bro." I was like,
Okay, say it didn't.
Say it lost 15 pounds.
I'll let you answer the question, but say it like sunken eyes.
Wow.
Very skinny. My mom was like, "Where's the rest of him?"
rough.
So what
was
was that over the clothes that you were going to wear?
It was about everything around like any decision. It was like my wife had some thought, my parents had different thoughts, my in-laws had slightly different thoughts, and I was there going, what the heck is happening? I thought I was getting married, and it's like, but with that said, like I never had an argument, even a soft one, with my like now wife of 3 years, and I think we courted each other. Well, just made me go like, come on, for about like a year and a half. Not one argument. Mainly me going, come on.
And then when you were getting married, there was arguments? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
but
saying?
nothing in terms of that comes to resolution. But there were wedding
Right.
arguments. It's all about like random wedding stuff. So it didn't, and you were like, okay, this stuff will pass, and it did. But I realized that I hadn't really been in an argument with somebody at all that I was considering as a spouse or a life partner or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think we definitely we definitely ensure that clients understand that they aren't going to really appreciate the challenges of being with somebody 24/7 and appreciate knowing somebody to that degree, and then the arguments that is going to bring about, or even the joy that that's going to bring about until they're in it. And marriage isn't one of those things you can prep for it as much as you prep for it, but you're not going to know it until you've lived it. It's just one of those things. And even if you've been married before, your next marriage is going to be different. If you've been divorced and you're getting married again, your next marriage will be different, because what you bring out in somebody and what they bring out in you is very unique. You think you know yourself, and then you get married and you think, oh my God, I'm
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
there is a side of me I never knew existed.
Yeah, a dormant side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins comes out.
Right. Wait, no, what are you doing?
Fava beans.
Fava beans.
But isn't that a scary thing? Like it's like, I mean, obviously you spend some time with that person for you to find out what part of you comes out. But what I've noticed is that in my time that, speaking to people who I was interested in or whatever, there's been times where, well, one particular time I can think about where normally I felt like I was I'm a calm person, or generally calm and very like even keeled. But one person, just for some reason, and I don't know if it's fair for me to blame that particular person but like it really did make me manic a lot of times, where like it would bring that aspect of me. I didn't like who I was when I was around that person, and I don't think
Right.
it was particularly her. It's not her. It's just the energy that comes out when we'd spend time together, and that's a little scary, because while you're saying over here is that you'll never really be 100% prepared, right? So you kind of do your due diligence and you try to figure things out, but like, how do we know, like further down the road, that stuff develops on you, or is that just a choice that you have to make? And then
I think it's the choice that you have to make.
Yeah.
I think you what I've often found actually is that people who are in extended periods of getting to know one another,
yeah,
actually they're looking for reasons not to be with one another, or they're looking for, well, where are the flaws? This is too right. What's wrong?
yeah.
Let me figure out what's wrong with this. And, and I don't say this because I'm in the job of getting people married, but I really do think that if you think somebody's right for you, and for a certain period of time they've brought out the best in you, or they've brought out good in you, then that potential for them to bring out good in you is always there. When bad in you comes out, now it's your choice to fix it.
Right.
And that's why I fundamentally believe that Islam says marriage completes half your deen, because it's about rectification of character. That's what marriage is.
Ooh.
You get married to fix your character, because there's only your husband or wife is going to bring those sides of you out. Nobody else in the world will irritate you the way your husband or your wife will. And you will not choose to stay with anybody else in the world despite that irritation, like you will choose to stay with your husband or your wife.
That's so.
That's
deep.
Yeah. That's, give me a moment.
Hey, let's
But
talk
like,
about fun stuff.
I do really
Deep
like that
things.
idea of rectification.
Rectification.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Of
Enunciate.
character. Of character. I think that's a really cool
I would love
idea.
for you like learn English and just like. It's all right.
I think that's a really cool concept, because I think a lot of times people think that there's a lot. I mean, obviously, you need to be a whole person yourself. You need to be working on yourself and things like that. But everyone is a work in progress. So really, right, how do you make that? Like, you have to, at some point, make a decision going, look, I understand that I'm working in progress, but I'm going to dive in and then hopefully find someone that you can work together in that journey. And so not having to wait until, whatever thing that you're trying to resolve within yourself, knowing that your journey with another person is also part of it. That's a really cool. You say all these things when you're in interviews?
No.
No?
I say all these things because we have processes. So by the time they, if we've introduced a couple, we'll even do marriage counseling. We'll do premarital counseling with couples. So these things come out in the premarital counseling. Okay, now you guys have chosen to get married and decided,
Right.
or are in the process of deciding to get married. Have you thought about X, Y, and Z? Have you thought about why you're here? What are the reasons? What are your intentions? Are you looking for this person to solve your world? Because that's not going to happen.
Okay, that's a very interesting concept. So not only do you match the people, and then if they are interested with each other, and then after they start a relationship and whatever that is, but you're still present there.
As long
throughout
as
the
they
process.
want us to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't interfere if people don't want us,
Right.
but it's a service that we offer, and we've always been taken up on it. But I think that comes to the point where people have by that point built such a level of trust with us that they're willing to speak to us about things that they wouldn't necessarily speak to other people about, and they're willing to do it collectively, together. So.
It's really interesting because Christians normally, if they want to get married at a particular church, I don't know if this is for everyone, but like the priest gives them it's like a 7-week course every weekend. They got to
Robin
show
Williams
up.
movie, John Krasinski and Mandy Moore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so it's essentially counseling, like premarital counseling.
Right.
There are also a number of masjids that are now doing the
that
same
too.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, the thing is that is it just the imam
Yeah.
that are doing it, right?
I
I mean,
think-
it's great, but at the same, I'm not crapping on imams, but I'm
Yeah.
saying at the same time, dude's an imam. Like, there's certain strengths and weaknesses. Like, it'd be
Right.
cool to have people who are like dedicated their life to understand this type of thing for them to be able to.
And I'm sure some imam have, but for the most part, there's other things they're doing.
Yeah, like fundraising and whatnot.
Ordinarily, if the masajid has decided to offer this as a service, it's primarily led because the imam is the one. Like, my dad's an imam, and he would go to more divorces than he would marriages. Like, he got to that point where he was just like, that's it. I'm not marrying anybody unless they've been through some level of
Right.
understanding of what it means to get married. And so there is a point of often these things are led by the imams themselves, and those imams that understand relationships sufficiently enough to where this is what they are interested in. This is their sort of service, So, which is why you'll see some masajid that they're so focused on this stuff. It's amazing.
Right.
That's really cool.
Well, that is good. Okay, so just so that we can build some context for the people who are listening, you have 2 main packages.
Yes.
Let's go over the non controversial one first. So the simple one, which is $250 for your first introduction, or one introduction.
We technically have 3 packages.
All right, there we go.
We're getting into
So
technical.
we have the event-based package, which Faiza will tell you about because she's the event
That's her baby.
superstar. And then we have the single one-to-one introduction, which is $250, where we will get to know you, get to know whoever it is. Once we've gotten to know you, we'll find people in the database that match your criteria.
Right.
And actually, I have also been known to find people outside of the database because I know people, or I've gone to conventions or whatever, and I've gone, you would be perfect. Are you single? Yes, you are. I've headhunted a husband. But I'm cool with that. I have no shame. Like, at the end of the day, I've already got married. I don't need to worry about it. Like, I can go and ask people these questions without feeling embarrassed about it if it helps my clients get married, and be proactive about making those searches.
You did that at the event in Florida. The guy came up to us and he's like, hey, I like that girl over there, you know? So she just walks up to her and be like, hey, so are you interested in that guy over there?
Actually, no, I first asked,
She's like, no,
I asked
married.
if he was single. If she was single.
Yeah, you did. I
And
mean,
then
she did
said
actually
she was
approach
married,
her.
and I
right?
was like, okay, cool, no worries.
Yeah, just have you stroll over to the girl and you just pull out a pen, like a laser pointer. That guy there, just like circle on his chest.
No, I wouldn't be that bad, but you know, I really do believe that we've made marriage much more difficult than we needed it to be.
Yeah, we have.
The process is very difficult. The process of finding, and then you know, we've made it this thing of it's all about it's rejection. Finding a search for a partner has now become about rejection as opposed to finding somebody to spend the rest of your life with.
Right.
And that's awful. That's not the way it should be. You should enjoy it. You should be happy. Like, happiness should be part of the process of getting married. It shouldn't be like, oh my, thank God I don't have to do this process anymore because I found somebody. That's what
And
people,
I
like,
think
people
that's
actually
always
say
in
that
our
stuff.
culture, in our community, more than in the Western culture. They're happy, they're dating, they're actually going out there meeting the person, and they're so happy about their marriage. It's not a burden on them as it is on Muslims, right? I mean, for them, like, it's so hard. Like she said, being rejected, and you know, it's just way different because the dating culture or getting to know someone doesn't exist in the Muslim community. So it's when people are getting to that age, it's so difficult for them to even introduce someone to their family because it's so different, right? So it's for them, when I look at people in Canada in general, when they're dating, they're all happy. It's not a burden on them. They're having a good time, and then eventually they get married. So for us, we have to create an environment or atmosphere where people can get to know each other and not be such a burden on them. Oh my God, I'm going to get rejected by this person, or if I'm not going to get approached, right? So that's what we do with the events as well. We try to make it as less awkward as it can be. So when you come in,
And fun.
you know, and a lot of fun.
What
That's
kind
the
of
main
events do you
thing.
guys have?
So we have events are comedy shows, we have murder mystery nights, we have scavenger hunts, we have
mystery
celebrities coming in from different communities.
I would just come in. I
And-
was just like, "Are you trying to get married?" Like, no, man, murder mystery.
Oh yeah, so
But
you know
that's
what?
the point, right?
Yeah,
Is
we
that
let
if
you
leave that night thinking, I had a blast. I had such a good time.
right, and you interact with one another without feeling like, hey, what is my pickup line going to be when I talk to that girl, or telling an imam or someone that, hey, can you let me talk to that girl or that guy over there? And then there's so many people leaving that room not being approached, right? And that's not a good feeling that people get when they leave. You pay for a service, you don't get approached, or you meet really lame people at the event that you're not interested in, or a lot older than you, right?
Right.
So for our events, we want to make it really fun, less awkward, and as soon as you enter, you're gonna feel like it's another night out with your friends. And even if you don't meet someone there, you'd have such a good time at our event with your friends that you're like, you know what, I'm gonna come again and try another
That's really
one.
cool because generally, and I used to work. I was the vice president of my student union back in college, and we used to have these like social events that were really for people that can, meet each other, but they were always in like a date setting. It's
Right.
like speed dating or spaghetti dinner for like $5 for everybody, so people will come in. But those were all like, I'm not saying there was pressure, but it just wasn't the right atmosphere.
Right.
Like it
Right.
was not a fun situation. And these sound like, you know what, regardless of anything, I'll have a good time. Hopefully I'll meet somebody. You
Right.
know? So it's
I mean,
really-
if I give you a situation, you go to a room, right? You know that you're going to marry that person. Your conversation with that person would be very different than you going to talk about something that you guys both have in common. Or we put you in an escape room and you have to talk to each other and
Right.
interact and get to know each other,
Yeah.
how they are when they're frustrated or can't figure things out,
or
you know?
afraid of the dark. You're like, this person
Yeah.
got weak genes. I'm out of here.
So that's
It's
the
okay
main
if you're
thing.
afraid of the dark. Just
Is it? Okay.
Right.
That's one of the ones that, like, you can say you're
Night lights.
claustrophobic, and everybody's very understanding. Like, you can say afraid of the dark, and everybody's like, what? And they make fun of you. It's
people
weird.
are afraid of spiders, man. Like if you could, it's like
She goes, slack, and she looks at her finger for a second.
Yay big.
That's really cool, though. Like, I think that's, if I can say, like, that's probably the perfect to do, like, events where you can find a spouse is, like, just focus on making it fun.
Because
Right.
I've heard of a lot of matrimonial events, never been to one, but I remember the biggest one, or at least the one that was most popular, is the ones at Riz. And the descriptions that you get after of the people walking out. So how was it, right? How's it? And it is just the description by that, the amount of cringe.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The amount of cringe that you're getting from the story, you're like, "Whoa, thank God I did not go."
See, whereas for me, that upsets me. Like I get so angry because people should not have to go through that. They
Yeah.
Right.
really, they just shouldn't have to go through it. We should have figured this out way before.
Yeah.
We should have understood that, okay, the systems aren't working. We have to put in place other systems. So then when we put Matchbox together, we literally went through, right, what were the worst experiences that I mean, I had because she's still a baby. No, you're not a baby. But, you know.
I like baby.
But it was like, what were the worst possible experiences, and how do I make sure nobody else goes through that?
Right.
You know, and how do I take all of that away? And then our service was born, really.
Right.
And the other thing that's really good about both the events and the one-to-ones, with the events, your matchmaker has already gotten to know you. And it not in that kind of weird, cheesy, anti way,
Right.
but in that, you know, I often have to say to clients, okay, I'm really sorry, but I got to get off the phone now because I got my other call coming in and I'm still talking to you 15 minutes after our conversation should have ended. Because we've, you know, been putting the world to rights or whatever it might
Right.
be. Because that's the kind of relationship you cultivate with your clients. So when you go to events, you are chilling with your friends because your matchmakers are come in and they're having chats with you and they've gotten to know you and they know your brothers have just had a baby and they know, you know, and whatever. So that it's like you're there and you're there with friends and you're enjoying yourself. And then similarly with the one-to-one introductions, we've gotten to know people so well that when we're speaking to other clients or I'm interviewing a new client, I automatically can be thinking about, okay, this person's going to have so much chemistry with that person.
Right.
You know, because I've gotten to know them. I know their name. I know things about them that probably their families don't know. And that's the real joy, is just being able to spend. I remember when we first started doing it, I was like, Faiza, I'm having such a good time calling these people.
She's having a blast.
And she was just like, seriously? Like, and I was like, yeah, I'm really liking this. I'm just on the phone the entire day, getting to know like 100 different people. It's
Do you ever
great.
get off the phone with somebody, you're like, there's no hope for that one? That guy.
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Oh, yeah?
Not
yeah,
yet.
no, Bano is very open-minded.
Although to
in-
be fair, I have refused service.
We have.
Okay.
We do have a policy. We do refuse service. So if you'll get caught in a single lie, and it could be a lie like, well, I told you I was a year younger, or I told you that, you know, it could be a really simple, oh, I only graduated college, but I told you, you know, it could be something big.
You guys
it could be
actually
something
verify.
small.
You guys go deep.
We do for the platinum package,
with the
yeah.
platinum package.
But if you get caught in a lie, even if it's a small one, and often what we'll find is people, when they're speaking to us, because they've gotten to know us, will then go, actually, you know, now I've gotten to know you, I feel like I can tell you this, but I didn't want to tell you to begin with. At that point, even if I really like you, I'm sorry, you're no longer eligible for our service. Marriage is really serious business. People should not be lying in it. People should not be lying to other people about it. And even if it's a small lie now, there are times when you're going to justify lying to somebody else.
Right.
And that might be one of my clients, and that's not done. So, yeah, I've had
that's
to
really
refuse
cool.
service.
There's been clients who are like, I'll pay you twice the amount, just get my son married, you know?
Yeah, that's,
She
yeah.
has to take all those calls and talk to people.
Yeah, but you know, but parents, they like, I mean,
Do you ever have to like tell people how they should improve themselves?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
hey,
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, like, hey, you like when somebody asks you a question, just keep talking.
I don't ever do that unless I'm asked specifically. I don't believe that that's my role.
Okay.
I think I take people where they're at.
And
I don't
accept them for.
I just think
Right.
I think they have to take who they're looking for where they're at, as opposed to an aspirational partner. You know, I want somebody who may in the future become, and I do at that point say, no, we need to find who you're looking for today. You have to tell me what you're looking for right now, and what you're willing to accept or not right now, not what you want when he finally finishes and in 20 years time becomes. In the same way, I won't kind of say to people, actually, you're too desperate or whatever. But at the same time, there have been clients that have said to me, and very frequently actually, almost once a week I get a question of, could you give me your opinion on X? I'm looking for this. Am I being too?
Okay.
Or this part of my personality, what do you think would gel with it? Because I think it would be this, but what do you think would be? Or, am I coming across as being too needy in this? And so often we'll have those conversations. So I think I have an email in my inbox right now about somebody who is, wanting to pursue something and he has some concerns about his personality. And he sent me an email with regards to that. And I will give you my honest opinion, but I will also clarify that it is my opinion, and the other person might not think it. So
I think that's a testament to how people feel open with you with regards to like, well, now that we're already talking, why don't I tell you this other stuff and see what you think about, there's a lot of people that I know that hold you in very high regard. I have a friend that went through your program and, her nikah was a couple weeks ago or so.
Oh,
yeah,
so
we are.
exciting. I didn't even know about them. Like, that's so exciting.
Yeah, we are boosting over that one. I love it.
Mashallah.
Yeah. So, and she's very happy. Yeah. She recently messaged me. She's like, I need to know photographers.
I'm
Great. That's so cool.
Wait to go to the big do.
Oh yeah.
I don't actually like weddings.
Except if it's
my people. Like, now I want to
If it
go.
wasn't for me, this thing, none of you would have had biryani.
You should be part of the entrance. Like everyone comes in at the very end. Dr. Bano walks in all the way up.
Just throwing out business cards of single men and women. Just getting stuck in their hair and shit.
Oh,
That's
too
not
funny.
a bad idea. I like that.
She'd
You
probably
should
do
ask them
that.
to put it in their wedding cards.
If you guys enjoy this wedding, wait until it's your sons. There's like ninja stars.
That's so funny.
Okay, we kind of glossed over the platinum package,
Okay.
but
I want to go over the platinum.
let's
package.
go over the
platinum
platinum
package.
package.
The platinum package is where we go mafia.
And
Right.
that's the top shelf, right? There's no like.
That's top shelf.
Okay.
When you say mafia, it just sounds like you're breaking knees.
Well, it's more okay. I don't know what the I'm too sick to tell you what. Give you another movie reference, but the platinum package is basically where we will do all of the background checks on a specific client. So if we've introduced you to somebody and you guys want to proceed, but one partner is wanting to, or both partners are wanting to make sure that what they've been told is legit, or even it's not even about a mistrust issue. It might even just be, I don't have either the time or I'm too publicly known to be able to get to know this person without it becoming this big hoo-ha.
Right.
And I'm not ready to get married to them until I know X, Y, and Z.
Right.
We will then go in and we will do things like sort of background checks in terms of education, affirming that they did actually graduate from whichever institution they said they graduated from, that they do work where they say they work, that their health checks are fine, and we do have to get consent from people to be able to do this, but things like, get a police check and stuff like that if necessary. Meet families, fly out to wherever it is and meet them. And so our platinum package is priced to include the fact that it involves our flights, our accommodation to wherever in the world we might have to go to meet whoever it is that we might have to meet to get and then get personal references, but meet people who are also personal referees of this person,
Right.
and really do all of that sort of checking. So, in olden times, people would marry within their own networks because they knew what to expect.
Right.
Your families would know.
Right.
I know that so-and-so's from a good family because we've known them 3 generations back. And so that, no, they've been raised right or whatever.
Right.
People don't have that anymore. They don't have those sorts of connections. And very often that whole thing of you're not just marrying a person, you're marrying their whole family, that hasn't gone away. Mm-hmm. And yet there's no way for you to really get to know what all of that larger dynamic feels like.
Right.
And secondly, we've really instituted this whole idea of you can't ask that question. you can't, yeah, no, but what are you saying? What are you saying about me if you ask that question of me?
Right.
I can ask any question I like, right? And I do. And, people will come to my clients will come to me and say, the person I'm considering has been married before, but I want to know X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And I'm able to go in and go, right, so tell me about your situation. And they're able to tell me because they're not marrying me. So they're not losing anything by telling me. But at the same time, I'm able to kind of dig deep without them thinking, God, you're a bit picky, aren't you? Like, stop asking me these weird questions.
Right.
Because I'm doing my job. And so I can ask really awkward questions. I can sound like a cow, and I don't care. That's a British insult, by the way.
Right.
If, people didn't get that.
I was like, all right, cool, moo.
I'm like, I would care if you sounded like a cow. Just walked in, started mooing. I was like, something is odd with this one.
So
She's mooing in a British accent.
How do you do in a British
I don't know. It's late, people. It's late.
what I like about this concept is the fact that, yeah, you can ask the questions that if there was a person that you were interested in was asking these same questions, it would come off as, well, what the hell, right?
Right.
But what is also advantageous of this situation is that they can kind of trust you so you can ask the awkward, direct questions. That person can trust the fact that they can answer in the most direct way, and then you will filter or deliver the thing in the way that appropriately as possible. Exactly. So it's not like, oh, you told me this and I'm just going to throw it over on the other side. It's more like you take it and you process it based on your own expertise. And then this is what I think you should know about this other person. In that case, it kind of protects both parties. And so that is actually even better, because the thing is that you don't have to do the awkward questions. You also don't need to divulge so much about yourself. Right. So you can still protect a little bit of yourself as well, because like it's kind of going through a person where you can process and distill. That sounds really good. So 10,000 now, it seems like it makes sense.
But that's 10,000 for five people, right? So that might be 5 flights, five staying overs in wherever it is, 5 times where we're having to go and meet 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people.
Right.
So when you think about that in terms of what you're resourcing, it actually doesn't work out as a great deal. And then, we've had people that have kind of said, well, what if I find the person?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do that? And yeah, we're not averse to doing that. The only thing is that what has to be recognized is that our pre-established relationship with the client isn't there, because you've gone out and found that person, right? So that the person that you want us to explore might not have that level of trust with us that our own clients have, where our own clients have already given us their future and said, our future's in your hands, go off and find us a partner, because they came to us. And that builds a real, it's a real position of privilege to be able to do that for people.
That part is mafia. The amount of dirt that you know about everyone, you could ruin so many people at this.
To be fair, I know a lot of dirt about a lot of people before I even got into this job.
Yeah, you already know so much about me.
Yeah,
I'm not even part of the program yet.
I've got to say, my one gift I really feel is the fact that I am so forgetful. I know people come and tell me kind of sins and stuff, and I'm like, why are you telling me this? Stop it. And then 3 weeks later, I've forgotten what they've told me, and I'm like, yes, I love that. It's so good. It's great.
Make me want to open up and we're like, no, wait, she's just saying that. She can remember every little thing.
I don't want to call you out, but I also want to call you out and be like, remember when
I remember nice things about people.
Okay, so that's why.
I remember things that
make
you vulnerable,
right?
That you need healing with. Those are the things I remember.
Oh my God! Well, that makes a lot of sense, because you remembered very specific things about anxiety about me.
Yeah.
A very long time ago. So that was interesting when we got to talk about it. Actually, let me just tell the story real quick, because I think we're coming to the end of the podcast. So earlier this year, I was going through an emotional tough time, and I was getting to a point where number one, stop where bounce ideas off of generally Syed. It was getting to a point where I need to go talk to someone else. And when you want to go and to talk to someone else, it makes sense to talk to someone that is a little bit not as connected to you. That's where a therapist comes into play. But like at that point in time, I didn't have a therapist. So the next best thing, I was looking through my phone and my thumb decided to stop on Dr. Bano. So I gave her a call. I gave you a call. And I gave you the Coles Note version of it, and you just said, "You want to come over?" Right? Yes, I do want to come over. And I remember leaving work and then driving over to your place, and we sat down. And by the way, this is not a service that's part of Matchbox. Okay.
Want to come over? What's the platinum? What's up with that? The want to come over, sir? Just come over. We'll talk about it.
We sat down on the floor, and because I'm the type of person that writes everything, so Dr. Bano just sat there while I just told the entire story, the whole as far back as I could go to what had went on, and where I was right then and there. And a lot of times when you get into that place, you kind of already know what you're supposed to do. There's somewhere deep inside that you kind of understand what the decision is, but it feels better if you were to tell all of that to someone else, and then that person looks it over and then says it back to you in a way that you can understand. And that's what you did. You broke it down. You gave me point A and then supporting arguments, and then point B supporting arguments, which is, as an engineer, I freaking love that. And this was the point of, the significant part of the story is the fact that when you got all the way till your, concluding statement, and you were delivering the news, and I mean, like the conclusion, which is it wasn't happy. It wasn't a happy conclusion. I knew, that was the thing that I needed to do anyway. I mean, it was tears in your eyes. And for me, that was significant just because, like, you don't know my situation. This is the first within 45 minutes is what I told you everything. And at that point in time, you were so invested in my story, in my happiness, and now in my sadness, I guess. And that to me was really the indicator of how much you love doing this job, even the sad parts of it. But it's still something that comes from your heart. It comes from a place where, of deep caring. So for both of you doing this job, I understand, a lot of people say that, oh, it's a labor of love. I love doing this. But I think there's a level of intensity that you two bring to this job that you do that a lot of people who are listening to the podcast, they might be considering, maybe I should go, maybe I shouldn't. Rest assured that if you put your trust in these people and they say, you just said, this is my future. This is please go find someone, right? You're in good hands. So that's the best, really, what's the word for it? Recommendation, if you will, from Matchbox, from my personal experience dealing with Dr. Bano. Am I messing with your rep?
Yeah, because I'm a tough Brit and you guys are soft Canadians, and now I sound like a softie, and that's just not cool. But thank you.
Yeah. So that was good. So if people would like to sign up for Matchbox,
Yes.
Is it matchbox.com?
No, it's Your Search Ends Here.
Your search ends here.
Yeah, I was on the website.
That
Yeah.
being said, if you do forget that, if you type in Matchbox space matrimonial presenter, that's the first hit
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you want to register for the event on the 26th of December, then registration closes on the night of the 24th
Right.
because we do pre-match people, so we need to have time to be able to go through everybody, interview everybody, and get them pre-matched to get to the event.
Right.
So if you want to come to the event, then you've got to do that ASAP.
ASAP.
Okay.
Like now.
There's another thing as well. There's the location of the event.
Bay and Dundas, baby.
Ooh.
But the rest of it stays secret.
Yeah.
So where on Bay and Dundas? Be a lot of Muslims on Nathan Phillips Square
Yeah,
on the 26th.
that's exactly what I'm like. They're going to be
Where
Which
is
building?
in the middle of the ice rink, like, it's cold. Don't trust the Brits.
it? We will invade you. So,
Yeah.
To be fair.
And then
make you pay us taxes.
Oh, shit, that's true. Sucks. They're on our money.
Man. All right, people. That is the end of the podcast. Thank you for hanging out. Good luck in your search for love. But if you're already married, then you've already found it, hopefully. Or you. All right, people. Take care of yourselves. We'll be back in a week. Good night.